Why in a second.
So thank you for listening. Good morning, everybody. Normally I'm up here and I'm an advocate for a cause. Everybody in this room, though, is an advocate for something. And while frequently that can be a immigration issue or so on, we usually all end up at some point getting around to where we're advocating for candidates. We understand that in order to have changes made, in order to see our program supported, we need to get the right people elected. Sometimes the candidates that we have running are not necessarily our idea of the perfect candidate. Ronald Reagan hasn't been running for quite some time. This year has been particularly the case where we've got a couple of candidates, and I'm standing up in front of rooms filled with not as happy and friendly a group of conservatives as this is. You can get into some Tea Party meetings where they don't want to hear about certain candidates that most of America would call conservative. And you're trying to explain to these people that we really need to support them anyway, in spite of this or in spite of that. And it led me to think, how can we as advocates present to people a simple idea of you've got to support somebody who is less than perfect. Because often our candidates, like I say, are less than perfect. Now, I know some people in this room are aware that I will occasionally support a particular candidate, but I'm not up here today for any, like I say, pushing this plea because of any particular candidate that inspired us. What we came up with is, how do you explain to your friends who you're voting for and why when you don't like them? Well, we've got the stink starter. This is a very simple device. Somebody says, how are you voting for that person? Well, I've got some people that have said they could not go in and vote in the last election for John McCain without pinching their nose, without using the clothespin. So we said that's a great way to let people know exactly that. Now, if you're a candidate and you're out and you're talking to somebody and you're asking for their vote and they're saying, well, you know, I'd love to do it, but your position on immigration, I just can't handle it, give them a stink stopper with your name on it or so on, and maybe they'll get the idea that they need to support you. But you don't just have to wear it on your nose while you vote. You can do it while you're talking to somebody and asking them to vote. You can put it on your refrigerator because every stink stopper has a tab. You can clip on it the literature for the candidate you want, although this one happens to have a little picture of a gentleman. It's not a senator from Massachusetts, but it looks like a senator from Massachusetts, and that might be somebody that you'd say, how are you voting for him? Well, I'm using my stink stopper. So this is just a tool to help you win a few arguments. If you're a candidate, maybe get you a few votes. If you've got relatives that are not understanding of why you're voting for somebody, give them a stink stopper, maybe it'll help. And if you want one today, we've got a box of them up in the back room. They're $5 a piece. It makes a much better point than just a plain empty clothespin.
I didn't think there'd be any questions.
You understand why I was able to make this presentation.
Out of your mind, you know? These are fellows we're asking to run in the public domain already with an opposing party. Now you said that we're going to identify them as having a pejorative meaning.
Well, the typical stink stopper has just a nose on it with a stink stopper picture on it. You don't have to have it. You don't have to have it for a particular candidate. It could be a discussion point. I'll use this. I'll use my stink stopper with more than a dozen different candidates.
These people up, for God's sakes.
It's a great argument, and we certainly are sensitive to that. And I don't want anybody using this in order to get somebody to still be able to vote for Barack Obama. With the stink stopper, he is not worthy of voting.
Ralph, thank you.
Questions to statement. I purchased a bumper sticker from him a few months back, put it in the back of my windshield of my brand new GMC truck, drove it from here across country, down the state of California, stopped at a few places that were predominantly Mexican, and the window, and my window was still intact. The sticker is still on my vehicle today, so I think his stink thing will be pretty stink.